would say the first challenge is motivation, to
Okay.
have that motivation in order to get your PE license. And the motivation came to me from watching a lot of YouTube videos and going on forums, going on researching about it, going to your website and reading about it, going to like different channels and learning about how important it is for me to get my PE license. And it's, to be honest, it's the ultimate goal, you know
Mhm.
and if you don't I felt like if I don't achieve that goal, if I don't have that PE, it would be like falling short of the finish line.
Hi, Hassan.
Hey Vaseem, how are you?
I'm doing well. So, Hassan, congratulations on passing both your FE Electrical and PE Power in first attempts. Great achievement in a fairly short period of time, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and all thanks to you.
Well,
And
you
your
did all the hard work. You did
is
all the hard work. So it's all the heavy lifting was done by you. I was just helped along the way wherever I could with the prep resources. So let's go back to first of all, when did you graduate, Hassan?
I graduated in 2013.
Okay, and you went to university in Canada, and then you moved over to US. So when you came to US, you were already a professional engineer in Canada, is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean much in US, correct?
Yes, this is what I learned when I came to US. I thought that it would be easy to convert my license from Canada to US through reciprocity and all that. But then I learned about FE and PE, and I was like, okay, I have a long journey to complete before
Yeah.
I can be called a
Yeah.
PE US.
Yeah, you're not alone because everybody in the US, regardless of where they graduate from, they have to go through the same process. So it's the same process for everyone. That's why the PE license is so much valued in the US. I know it has value in Canada as well, but not nearly as much as in it is valued in the US. So you came over to US and then you decided that okay, I want to become a PE, and then you started thinking about FE electrical. How long did it take you before you really got serious with the FE electrical preparation?
Mm. So Wasim, to be honest, it was a tough decision because before I even started studying for FE, I was in a kind of limbo, whether it's worth it or not. So
Mhm.
I would say the first challenge is motivation, to
Okay.
have that motivation in order to get your PE license. And the motivation came to me from watching a lot of YouTube videos and going on forums, going on researching about it, going to your website and reading about it, going to like different channels and learning about how important it is for me to get my PE license. And it's, to be honest, it's the ultimate goal, you know
Mhm.
and if you don't I felt like if I don't achieve that goal, if I don't have that PE, it would be like falling short of the finish line.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's you're not reaching your potential, both in terms of your career progression, your earning potential,
mm,
and also I would say it's sort of a personal mission for a lot of people when they recognize that it's a difficult thing, right? And then
mhm,
secondly, the good stuff that comes with it, correct? Then
mhm,
you become intrinsically motivated. So you went through that journey of, um, proving to yourself that it's worth it. So
mhm.
once you overcame that phase, what was the next step?
So motivation was the first step. After I got the motivation, the second biggest challenge is finding time. and getting into that, catching on, getting that momentum of studying. Because, you know, I was out of school for like 9 years. And for me, I was not into that, you know, I did not have that momentum, or, you know, there were a lot of concepts that were forgotten.
Yeah.
And I had to like revise the basic stuff. So getting into that, you know, initial groove to get set up for the success is was a big challenge. Finding time
Yeah.
uh, after work, like I did both FE and PE with my full-time job.
Yeah.
So that that was the biggest challenge, to, you know, balance your time, have that work-life balance along with
Right.
studying.
So I'm going to ask you this question up front. Typically, I ask this question at the end. What did you sacrifice?
I sacrificed, uh, you know, time. Money is, I don't take it as a big sacrifice, because I
That's an
think
investment.
that
That's not a sacrifice.
that's an
That's an
investment.
investment.
But
In
exactly,
your
and
daily routine, when you say time, what did you sacrifice? Which aspects of your daily routines did you sacrifice? You watched less
so
TV, you hanged out with friends less,
I stopped
uh,
my gym.
you stopped
I
your gym, okay?
Yeah, I was a big, you know, I had good motivation for the gym, and I used to go swimming, gym, and that was like my everyday 2 hour routine after work.
Yeah,
And I sacrificed that just because, you know, so I could find a balance between work and studying. So I had to let my gym and swimming go. Plus, a lot of weekends, I used to play sports like cricket.
right,
I have a team in Michigan here.
right.
We have a cricket team. So I told the guys, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to come every alternate weekend, but
Yeah.
even that did not work out.
So a lot of leisure activities, right? And then you have to channel all of that time into exam preparation. So everyone makes these sacrifices. Good to know. Okay, so you started your FE exam preparation journey, and then I know you sent me a couple of emails asking about my program and this and that. It took you a little bit of time. You were probably halfway through your preparation already, and then you said that, okay, you know what, I'm going to join your FE electrical program for the last month of preparation. So walk me through that process.
Mm-hmm. So, first, to be honest, I was kind of researching a lot of forums, you know, uh, different forums to see who would be the best resource to use.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I For FE, I kind of went off on my own tangent, because I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I don't need a resource. Maybe I can do it on my own, because it's easy. I thought it was easy.
I
You
don't think
know,
it's easy.
yeah, that's what I initially thought. That's why I kind of went on my own tangent, and I was not using your resources in the beginning. But then after 5 or 6 months, I realized that there was a lot of overhead contained in the resources that I was using. So a lot of overhead, like there was a lot of information that was not relevant for the exam. And eventually I got so frustrated, because after 5, 6 months, I still felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. So then I was like, okay, you know what? I've heard was about Wasim's course through references, through online, through different people, through testimonials. So okay, let's try it out. You know, then
Mhm.
I registered for your course for 1 month. You know, just to check it out. You know how it is. And then the biggest difference was, you know, studying on my own and then coming to your course, was that I realized that everything is to the point and in a condensed form. There's less overhead. I don't have to, you know, absorb all that overhead just to understand, you know, a simple not a simple concept, just a concept for the exam. Like, I don't have to go through all that overhead and all that extra information.
Right.
You have everything in your course explained to the depth that is needed for the exam. So that was the biggest difference that I found as soon as I registered in your course. And right after, I don't know if you know that, like I just registered for a month, and within a month I was able to pass the FE course.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned that. So that's impressive. And obviously you were already working on the FE, so that obviously helped with the motivation. So that was 5 months on your own and then 1 month in my program. And then you got the FE done in first attempt. And then you moved right into PE Power. And you joined this time around both the on-demand plus the live training program, right? And I told you that, Hasan, if you're serious about getting the exam done in 2022, then this is the last live training session of the year that I'm going to be running between September to November 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And if you participate in most of the live training classes and then combine the on-demand with that, then you have a very high chance of getting both PE Power as well as the FE, which you had already cleared, done in the same calendar year. And that's exactly what you did. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, walk me through your PE Power exam preparation journey. So you had achieved success with the FE program, and then it was not as much of an issue for you to decide to move directly to PE Power program, right?
Mm-hmm. So, so when I cleared my FE exam, it was a time for celebration. I love that feeling that, I'm one step closer to getting
Yeah.
my PE. But
Mhm.
at the same time, there was a regret that, I wasted. I know there is no such term as time wasted, but still, I felt like there was 4 or 5 extra months that I could have utilized better if I took your course. But then, that's just time gone. I
Cannot
can't,
do anything about it. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I can't do anything about it. So for me, coming to your PE course was a no-brainer. Was like, okay, you know what? I made that mistake before. I'm not gonna make it again. And I already have that inertia. I already have that momentum going for the exam, for the preparation. So why not, let's bring that inertia, let's bring that momentum into play. And, yeah, I took a day off just to celebrate, but 2 days later, I enrolled in your course and I was like, okay, let's cash in, utilize that momentum, and
Right.
let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So,
So the live training program ran from September to November. We were meeting every weekend with the rest of the group, and majority of the students have actually gone ahead and taken the exam. Some are still in the process of, doing the reviews and whatnot. And you're amongst the first few that took the exam right after the completion of the program. So what did you find helpful, especially in the live training program? The on-demand you had previously gone through, so the P-Power on-demand is a little bit even more in-depth as compared to FE Electrical. But what did you like about the live training program for for P-Power?
mm. so I know on demand. I was used to your on demand lectures, and I was kind of going through the same. But what I found different about your live training program was it was a little bit advanced. You won't go through your baby steps approach like you do in your on demand courses.
Mm-hmm.
In live training, the expectation is that a student has already gone through your on demand courses, which takes through baby steps,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would have attempted some study guide problems as well as homework assignments. So to me, on demand courses are like your baby steps towards understanding that concept, and your live training is a little bit advanced, not a little bit advanced, actually a lot more advanced,
Okay.
because by the time I came to your live training session, I would have gone over all the on-demand courses as well as the study guide problems as well
Right.
as the work assignment.
And you
So
use when you say study guide, you were using this book, right?
yes, this is my favorite book for this year. This is the
Good.
actual baby step approach that I'm talking about, and this will, like, I know you have, you take baby steps, and you eventually go to those hard growth problems that are actually going to be encountered in the exam.
Right.
So
So
that
that's how you
uh,
combine the study guide, the on-demand program, and the live training program, and you
and
got the job done, right? Um, and in terms of any advice that you'd have for students who are either looking for motivation, out procrastinating, or feeling underconfident and overwhelmed, that whether they can do it or whether it's worth doing it, what would you tell them?
honestly, my words of advice is, first, find the motivation, because finding the motivation to get this exam done, finding the importance and realizing the benefits down the road that you're going to be getting out of this license is the most important realization that they have to understand.
That's true.
After they have this motivation and they take the first step, that is FE, start studying for it. Doesn't matter, because I used to be in those shoes where I did not have that attention span. It took me hours and hours to actually start understanding. But
Mm-hmm.
my advice is, even if you don't understand, just sit and study. Just get in the habit of spending time and dedicating time. And it doesn't have to be like hours and hours, just 90 minutes or 2 hours. That's what I did. I
Right.
didn't matter if I understood the stuff, understood the content or not. Didn't matter. I would just make it my routine to at least sit for 90 minutes to 2 hours, just to get into that habit. And eventually, the path is going to get easier down the road. It's not going to get harder.
Yeah. Well, in case of P power, though, it becomes harder when
That
you
is
start approaching. When you start
yeah.
approaching, in fact, even for FE electrical, I would say that it starts out relatively easy with math, probability, engineering economics, and then at the end, computer networks and digital systems. It does start getting harder. So
Mhm.
throughout the live training program, I would never sugarcoat anything, right? I'd say,
Mhm.
guys, this is difficult. This is going to get even more difficult, and
Mhm.
it's going to be more painful before it becomes easier, right? So
Mhm.
overall, you're right. I 100% agree. So build that muscle,
Mhm.
by putting in 90 minutes, 16 minutes. Just the habit, that routine is important, because if you graduated 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, even if you graduated early 2022 and you start studying in end of 2022, or it
Mhm.
just like even that those few months of gap throw you out of routine. So that's a great advice, Hasan.
Mhm.
And it is very doable, right? Anyone can do it, Hasan.
I would say, if I can do it, if I was out of school for 9-10 years, if I can do it, then anyone can do it, especially with your course. And since you brought the topic of software and computer networking, there's one other advice that I want to give to everyone, is your software and your computer networking lectures were the best, especially for electrical engineers,
Thank you.
because we don't go through a lot of that. And if you try to learn computer networking or software engineering on your own, I can tell you that there's a lot of overhead
Yeah,
trying to learn those concepts, because there's so much, like, computer networking and software.
it's very broad.
it's
Yeah.
it's its own word. out
Well, it's
there.
its own world. Yeah, it's a own specialization. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So for electrical engineers, we have to know the depth that we are supposed to go. We
Mhm.
cannot really deep dive into those, software
Mhm.
engineering and networking content. We have to know where to stop. And I think your course, the way you have laid it out, it's, it really catches the breadth of the knowledge that we are supposed to capture for the FE exam.
Awesome. All right. Thanks a lot for your valuable advice, Hasan. And you're in the process of submitting your experience record form and whatnot, and in the process of getting licensed. I'm confident that better things and good things are to happen, and you will, reap the reward of all the hard work that you've done, and it's well
Mhm,
earned. It's not a small effort. Only the people who
mhm.
go through this really appreciate it, right?
Mhm.
Now, when come across another PE, you will automatically have that level of respect for that person, right? Because that person has gone through all the same hurdles that you have gone through, right? Late nights and, working with, family, personal commitments, work commitments, and this and that. And the exam is not easy. It's difficult, right? It leaves everybody, doubting uh, sometimes their own abilities and confidence. So that's why the wall is so high, so that only the people who are really committed are able to go over that, right? So
Mhm,
it's in some ways, I read this book. It was by Randy Pausch, I think that was the name of the writer, and it was all about time management. I don't know if you've heard about that book, but he had a terminal illness. He had cancer. Young guy, very high achieving in the prime of his life. I think early 40s, late 30s. But he knew he only had certain amount of time to live, right? And then he wanted to optimize his life and get a lot of things done, right? So one of
mhm,
the things he says in that book is that the big obstacles and barriers that we see towards our goals and challenges are actually good, because that basically means that only the people who are committed and motivated enough to go past those barriers achieve the good things that are on the other side, right? Anybody who is half-hearted about whether to go for it or not gets filtered out. So in a way, the value of PE license is so high, so immense, because it's so difficult to get. So once again, many congratulations, Hasan.
Thank you, Wasim.